So yeah, my name's Kamau. I'm a poet, hip hop artist, etc., etc. Basically, the word minority it comes from the word minor, obviously, meaning less than. And I think in a lot of ways, you know, it was something that word kind of started coming into play when other people were here, essentially in North America and the States and Europe and some of these other places where the people that were there, the Europeans, were the majority, like meaning literally in terms of like math. They were the most of the people that were there at the time. But the reality is that the vast majority of the world is not European. The vast majority of the world is other than European. European is a very small amount of people on the face of the planet. But for some reason, the term minority is applied almost across the board throughout the world to people of color and to people who did not necessarily occupy that European space who weren't the most populous people on this one small part of the world, you know? It didn't speak about the entire world. And the entire world doesn't look like Europe. And so the issue of people calling people minorities, especially like in a place like Toronto, which is almost like 50% that other group of people at this point in time, is actually not true. You know, it's just not the reality. And so I think the term is an outdated term, and it's also a term that is used in this way where it's like the majority now, the people that we talk about as the majority of the people that basically run the world, but are not necessarily the people that are the most populous people on the face of the planet. And that's because of a history of obviously oppression and colonization and racism, and you know, and a divide and conquer mentality as well. And so I think as black people and as people of color and as people who traditionally have not had power, at least in the contemporary world, don't necessarily have the same kind of power in society, we can't continue to use a term like minority because it's actually just not true. It's just not the reality of what the world actually is. And if we keep doing that, then our mentality will say that we are less than. And the fact is that we are not less than. I don't believe that anybody is less than. If you're a human being, you're equal to any other human being, regardless of your race, your color, your creed, regardless of how much money you have or how much power you wield in this particular world, you know? So that's basically my take on it.
Another year passed, still moving forward through an unclear path. Hormones still raging, wars still being waged, and it's true that the world is still yours, but it's changing. Black rappers still talking that crap, and backpack rappers still talking about rap. Meanwhile, still a war in Iraq, and we've ignored the theory of preemptive attack. Man, at least the president's black now, but if they had their way, they may try to change that. How come some see but don't feel the same joy? Imagine you're a man who's always been treated as a boy. Well, I guess you'd have to know struggle. Naive in your belief, you're not a part of our trouble. Privilege is a bubble. Look into the sky, Stephen Harper-like with that dull look in your eyes. Ask why you assume the authority. I'm most of the world, so why am I the minority? There's an answer in the first question. The second, how did Harper get past the election? Remember when we stood for something? Hipster sniffing coke, now is change still coming? I hope, but we're out here in the middle. It's clear it isn't simple. I fear it is a riddle. I'm single, still lonely, but not the one only. Trying to quell the rumors of a move to Nairobi. And those who know me see the change and they notice I'm still in T.O. I just have a different focus. And most poets speak in love and revolution. Habitually late, can't even keep the resolution. Please, don't waste my time. I got a bullet called change and I'm aiming at your mind. Now I got a godson, I wish his father was around. His baby saying mama, wish that he could hear the sound. I'm still praying that the hour ain't 11. Heaven knows where I poked. 5 folks still asking me about Kevin. I'm still praying that the hour ain't 11. Heaven knows why folks still asking me about Kevin. I tell them it's all love but no movement. And me doing music wasn't much of an improvement. No love lost, just the cost of my fear. Still extend a hand, we've had no plans for Pangea, New Year. Sunrise of my life, so it's early. Twilight of my youth, though I'm damn near 30. Economic crisis got lenders acting coy and investors insecure as a teenage boy. Heart rattling, still battling the truth. No matter when we get the funds, are we challenging the youth? A black president won't keep my people out of court. I'm no minority, so this is my majority report. Can't say we're better off than we were before. One man can't keep the world from being poor. Still kids from the ghetto fighting white people's war. Can't say we're better off than we were before. In synopsis, this is my majority.